The rigid divisions between future and past thus themselves collapse. Unbecome future becomes visible in the past, avenged and inherited, mediated and fulfilled past in the future. Past that is grasped in isolation and clung to in this way is a mere commodity category, that is, a reified, something abstract, that has been made more concrete or real, factum, a statement of the facts of a case, without consciousness of its fieri, being in the process of accomplishment and of its continuing process. But true action in the present itself occurs solely in the totality of this process, which is unclosed, both backwards and forwards. Materialistic dialectics becomes the instrument to control this process, the instrument of the mediated, controlled novum. The ratio of the bourgeois epoch, which remained progressive, is the next inheritance for this, minus ideology which is tied to its location in the increasing emptying of contents. But this ratio is not the sole inheritance. On the contrary, preceding societies, and even many myths in them, again minus mere ideology and particularly minus pre-scientifically preserved superstition, may also provide a philosophy which has surmounted the bourgeois barrier of knowledge, with possibly progressive inherited material, even though, as is obvious, this material particularly requires elucidation, critical acquisition, functional change. Consider, for example, the role of purpose, where to, what for, in pre-capitalist world pictures, or even the meaning of quality in their non-mechanical concept of nature. Consider the myth of Prometheus, whom Marx calls the most distinguished saint in the philosophical calendar. Consider the myth of the Golden Age and its transposition into the future, in the messianic consciousness of so many oppressed classes and peoples. Marxist philosophy, as that which at last adequately addresses what is becoming and what is approaching, also knows the whole of the past in creative breadth, because it knows no past, other than the still living, not yet discharged past. Marxist philosophy is that of the future, therefore also of the future in the past. Thus, in this collected consciousness of front, it is living theory practice of comprehended tendency, familiar with occurrence, in league with the novum. And the crucial point remains: the light, in whose appearance the processive unclosed totem, a person or thing regarded as being symbolic or representative of a particular quality or concept, is depicted and promoted, is called docta spes, dialectical, materialistically comprehended hope. The basic theme of philosophy, which remains and is, in that it becomes, is the still unbecome, still unachieved homeland, as it develops outwards and upwards in the dialectical materialistic struggle of the new with the old. Furthermore, a signal is set for this, a forward signal which enables us to overtake, not to trot behind. Its meaning is not yet, and the task is to grasp it thoroughly, in line with what Lenin meant in a passage which has come to be very much praised over the years, but not so eagerly taken to heart. Lenin begins, "What must we dream of?" I have written these words down, and am shocked. I imagine I am sitting in a coordination conference, and the editors and staff of the Workers' Cause newspaper are sitting opposite me. And then Comrade Martinov stands up and turns to me menacingly. May I be permitted to ask if an autonomous editorial staff still has the right to dream, without previously consulting the party committee? And after him, Comrade Krzyzewski stands up, and philosophically expanding the ideas of Comrade Martinov, who has long been expanding those of Comrade Plekhanov, continues even more menacingly. I'll go further than that. I'm asking whether a Marxist has the right to dream at all, unless he forgets that, according to Marx, humanity only sets itself tasks that it can solve, and that tactics are a process of growth of these tasks, which grow together with the party. I shudder at the mere thought of these menacing questions, and I wonder where I can hide. I will try and hide behind Pisarev. One gulf is different to another, wrote Pisarev, concerning the gulf between dream and reality. My dreams can overtake the natural course of events, or they can go off at complete tangents, down paths that the natural course of events can never tread. In the first case, dreaming is totally harmless. It can even encourage and strengthen the working man's power to act. There is nothing about such dreams which impairs or cripples creativity, in fact, quite the contrary. If a person were completely devoid of all capability of dreaming in this way, if he were not able to hasten ahead, now and again, to view in his imagination as a unified and completed picture the work which is only now beginning to take shape in his hands, then I find it absolutely impossible to imagine what would motivate the person to tackle and to complete extensive and strenuous pieces of work in the fields of art, science, and practical life. The gulf between dream and reality is not harmful if only the dreamer seriously believes in his dream, if he observes life attentively, compares his observations with his castles in the air, and generally works towards the realization of his dream construct conscientiously. There only has to be some point of contact between dream and life for everything to be in the best order. In our movement, there are unfortunately precious few dreams of this kind, and those people are chiefly responsible for this, who boast how sober they are and how close they stand to the concrete, and those are the representatives of legitimate criticism and the illegitimate politics of trotting behind. From Lenin, What is to be done?